5, 6.
All right, you can start. As people come in, we'll determine if you have a quorum or not.
Okay, good night. This is Jessica Welch. I am chair for public safety. Welcome, everyone. Tonight we're going to have someone from DEP speak to us about different safety measures that we can take in our community. Welcome. Okay. Ms. Hubbard, are you there? Yes?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Welcome to you. For coming to our
Thank
public
you.
safety meeting. Detective Skinner, hello, good night. Welcome everybody, and it's now 7:37, and I'm about to start the meeting. We haven't been able to use our attendance to approve our minutes because we haven't had quorum. But hopefully tonight we'll be able to approve the minutes for the last 3 months. Hopefully we'll have enough people that are part of our community public safety meeting. We had a meeting last month, and I actually asked everybody to come back with ideas of what you think our end of year forum should be. Has anybody thought about it? I will be asking for your opinion before this meeting is over tonight, but we need to come up with something. Also, we had a general board meeting since then, and I attended. We had Miss Julia James speaking on the zoning for Community Board 17, and it hasn't changed. We're still R6, and it's going to be what they will call a hell of a way to change it now that everybody knows that we are R6. So everybody comes to our neighborhood to build monstrosities. Next to me, I have a 28th floor monster. And it was done on land that was actually a farmland, but it's called a congregational nursing home. But now it's no longer the same building. We have a 6th floor in the back, and they got rid of some of our fruit trees. So that's what Miss James is trying to stop them from building so many in our neighborhood. That was done at the general board meeting, and now we're going to be part of the fight. Okay, Detective Skinner, at that meeting, as a result, on the Friday, there was a press conference about the shootings that happened in our community, and it was hosted by Miss Waterman. But unfortunately, I was not able to attend because when I got back from the Bronx, it was already like 10 something. But we still had a press conference there. And I would just like you to please go ahead and speak about the different shootings we had in our neighborhoods lately. Hello?
Not everyone. Detective Skinner from 6-7 Community Affairs. My connection might be a little off because I'm in Manhattan.
Wait, hold on, I'm not able to hear you. Go ahead.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Detective Skinner. Sorry for the connection. Like I said, I'm in Manhattan. They detailed us out this week for possible protest. I'm just gonna give a quick briefing. I can't stay too long because I ran inside the car real quick of what's taking place, and for the past 28 days, what took place, and what the trends are that's happening in the 6-7 precinct. One of the things I do understand is we did have last week we did have 4 people shot. Unfortunately, apparently it was an illegal social club, something that was going on, that was taking place at a dispute.
Oh, jeez. Oh, my goodness. I'm not able to hear.
Good evening, everyone. This is George. Hello, Miss Hubbard.
Hey, Mr. Tate, how are you?
Oh, hanging in the air, hanging in the air.
Good. I think we lost the detective.
I think he's still there
He's still
because
there?
I was just lost too.
No, he's not. Oh, yeah, he's there.
Oh, I forgot to introduce the committee. Oh, please, committee members, please tell me who you are, and if you're a member of the committee or a member of the board, please. I forgot about that. Introductions. Hello.
Judith Aarons, member of the committee.
Okay, welcome, Miss Aarons.
Monica McCain Brown, committee member.
Thank you, Miss Brown. Welcome.
Everett Brown, committee member.
Welcome, Mr. Brown.
First seat, board member, committee member.
Unattended, or running inside the store to grab a cup of coffee or something like that. And what's happening is that these people are leaving the cars unattended and leaving the the vehicle running for how many seconds, and people are grabbing it and jumping in, and they're taking off of their vehicles. So that's something that I think that's something to try to get the word out there, because you don't want to be caught up in something like that where they steal your vehicle. Next thing you know, your
If I
vehicle.
may, Detective Skinner, if I may, I think the
Yes.
last thing we heard you talk about was an illegal social club, a shooting at a illegal social club. You may have continued to speak, but we didn't hear anything until now. Suddenly, you're starting to talk about something else. So the last thing we heard, I believe, was about this illegal social club.
Like I
Yes.
said, my connection is probably off because I'm calling from my phone. What was the last thing that everyone hear? Because I want to know where to pick up from, or where to start.
The illegal social clubs, because that's when my phone also turned off and I was not able to hear anything. The
All
illegal
right, so yeah,
club.
for the shooting on 4-5 and Snyder, it was an illegal social club that was taking place. That's how the that's what stemmed from the shooting. Apparently, it was a legal social club that was an event that was taking place there, and there was a dispute amongst the people there. One person called their friend to come and help them take care of the beef, and the person came and ended up getting into it, and that's how the shooting started. From what we see, from what we're gathering, we have good leads on this one, so I can't speak too much of it, but we do have good leads on this one. And from what we see, is it looks like, unfortunately, I believe it was one intended target that we know for sure, and the other three, it seems to be that they end up getting caught by straight gunfire.
Any
Um,
fatalities?
Huh?
Were there, how many fatalities was it?
There was one fatality.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Wow.
There was one fatality. There was four total.
Okay.
The other thing that I just what you guys need to be aware of is stolen vehicles. I know it seems like it's something that's been going on, but stolen vehicles, we got 14 in the past 28 days. People have been leaving their vehicles running and just running in to grab food or whatever the case is, or just running inside their house to grab whatever. And 14 vehicles was and they're coming out, the cars are missing. So 14 is a lot. Highly encourage people, listen, cut off the vehicle, because now you don't want to be involved in someone stealing your car. Next thing, your car is being involved in using a crime, or in general. That's a big loss. So that's something we encourage people to definitely pay attention of. We so far we took off the street. What we would like to, what we'll continue doing, but we would like to let you guys know is that so far, let me just find it. Where is it? So far, we total of 33 gun arrests, and with 33 guns removed off the street, illegal firearms removed off of the street for the 28-day period. And we also towed over 60 vehicles, and they actually have a tow op that they're going to be doing tonight to try to remove some of those abandoned vehicles. I know that's been another issue that everyone has concerns about, in citywide. Matter of fact. I don't want to be brief, but does anybody have any questions or any concerns?
The amount of guns that you took off, this is committee member Judith Aarons. I just had a question about the amount of guns that you took off for the past 28 days. Was that
Yes.
higher, lower than what you've seen in the past?
Well, I'm not going to say higher or lower, but we're just giving you an amount to let you know that that's what we did within the 28 days. I don't have like for year to date on me as like last year as to what we took off the same month around the same time. I don't have that on me, but 33 is still a lot. That's a lot. That's
Seems
within
like
a month.
a lot.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
a
that
lot.
seems like a lot.
No, not seems. It is a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot. And the thing about it, you have to understand that's what's taken off in the 6-7 precinct. That's not even including the entire city or another neighboring precinct. So these illegal firearms are actually out there, and we're definitely trying to work hard to take them off the street.
Okay.
Thank you, Detective.
Thank you, Detective.
Ms. Wells, do you have any questions for me?
No, not right now, because as you know, the springtime comes around and we start having all of these what they call them, backyard parties, barbecue parties.
Mm-hmm.
We have to be aware that we are not living alone, and the music doesn't need to get any louder, because spring has started in this month on the 21st. And what are we looking forward to? More parties? What is the police doing about it? Should we use the phone and call the precinct? What should we do? At least that's
It's an
what somebody
emergency,
would
definitely call. If it's
definitely
emergency,
call.
definitely call 911. I mean, if it's a noise complaint, it's something that you guys don't think it's something whereby it's warranted 911. I mean, 311 obviously for non-emergencies. You could also call the precinct and make a complaint as far as for a noise complaint. But do know that some complaints that you make or some inquiries, it can't be made over the phone. It has to be either made 911 or an officer has to show up, depending on what the situation is.
Okay, members, you have any other questions for Detective Skinner? None? Okay, thank you, Detective Skinner.
Just do me a favor, Ms. Welch. Just make sure you confirm my attendance for this meeting. Thank you.
Yes, I will
Just make sure you
let
do
Ms.
note of
Lyons
that
know that
because
you were here. Okay?
I will because last time I know last month I told her I wouldn't be able to because I was actually on my way to what do you call it? It was a barricaded perpetrator that we had, so I was on my way out there. So just do me a favor, make sure you confirm, because I know there was an issue of us making attending meetings.
Oh, listen, what it is, it is. You were not here at
Mhm.
several things, but I will let them know that you came this month. Thank you.
No, not a problem. But I do know I was here from November though.
Yes.
But we'll speak on another forum on that. But I just want to confirm tonight. But
yes, thanks.
like I said, I can't stay too late because I am on a detail and I do have to go back to post.
Thank you.
But if anybody has any questions, just do me a favor. You can let Miss Lyons know, or let Miss Welch know, and we'll try to get back to you with any type of answers.
Okay, thank you.
All right, folks. Have a good night.
Okay, thank you.
Have a good night.
Good night. Okay, at this time, I would like to welcome our person from DEP, Miss Hubbard. Where is it? I don't see. Is Miss Hubbard here?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Okay. Hi, Miss Hubbard. Welcome.
Hi. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I think I know some of you and some of you don't know me. Miss Ellis, who is my boss, is going to be the one that's doing the talking.
Oh, okay.
Yes, because she knows
Good night, Miss.
everything.
Good night, Miss Ellis. Welcome to our meeting here at Public Safety meeting of Community Board 17. My name is Jessica Welch. I'm the chair, and you have the floor.
Good evening, and thank you so much for having us. I know that you all know Denise well, and if you don't, she's going to give you all of her contact information. I put my contact information in the chat for anyone who needs to reach me if you can't reach Denise. As she said, I'm Director of Community Affairs, and we're here tonight. Denise said that you all were interested in talking about flooding. So I just
and other emergency things
okay.
that we need to know as a community member.
Okay, so if you could, well, before I go into, I just have a little short talk that I wanted to give you all about storm preparedness. We know that in following Storm Ida, Henri, which was Ida, which was September of last year, and then December of this year, we had some heavy rain events. They came through the city. We had more than 3 inches of rain in an hour that came through the city at the time. New York City sewers are designed to take 1 inch to 1.75 inches of rain per hour. So the sewers were overtaxed. There was no way that the sewers could absorb all of that water as quickly or as it was needed. So the sewers were overtaxed, and what was happening is you were getting overland flooding and then sewer backups in your basements. If you have toilets, sinks, showers in your basements, you were probably seeing sewer backups coming in. And then if you have a basement, a sloped driveway, as you know, water goes to the lowest point. So the water was going in and you were getting possibly overland flooding in your garages. And if you, and down it possibly in your backyard steps. DEP, we live in an old city. We are looking at every opportunity that we can to upgrade the systems. We have areas in New York City that have no sewers at all. So we're currently out in Southeast Queens, we're rebuilding their entire sewer system because they didn't have any. So we've made a major investment out there. The majority of Brooklyn has sewers. There are locations in your community where you may be having issues and concerns. I hope that you're all putting them into the 311 system so that we can evaluate and identify where there are problem locations. And then following up with Denise in the office so that we can then refer all of that information over to our operations team. The 311 system is the best way to do that. And we utilize that system to make determinations as to what areas need to be upgraded, where we can put in green infrastructure, permeable pavement, porous pavement. We have a whole array of things that we're using now to help alleviate some of the water. As you know, and I think in the majority of CB 17, we weren't able to put in a lot of green infrastructure. I'm talking about the rain gardens because of the soil conditions. So we have to find other avenues to do that. So we're looking at other options for flooding to help alleviate some of the flooding. And we're also offering rain barrels. We're offering other types of things, flood barriers to help residents to, and these are all more or less Band-Aids, but it's something to help. And we need your assistance because sometimes we can't always build gray infrastructure, which would be pump stations or wastewater treatment plants because we don't have the space in the communities, or we don't have, or it's very expensive. It takes a long time to build. So utilizing green infrastructure, it's a lot less expensive, but it does help alleviate and take some of the water off of the street. We do have a storm preparedness program. It's called Rainfall Ready NYC, and it outlines the shared responsibilities for New Yorkers and city government because there's so much that you can do in your home to combat intense storms. We have this information on our website at www.nyc.gov. The city's role in this is, especially when we're planning for intense storms, we have an interactive flood map that can be found on our website, so you can see if you're living in a flood zone. CB 17 is not a flood zone, so you all don't have to worry about that. We provide flood barriers, as I mentioned, and we promote and expand the Flood Help NY, which is a program that's run citywide for residents, and we can provide information on how that works. What New Yorkers can do is use that flood map to understand your risk. If you've got to get flood insurance, you can sign up for Notify NYC. If you will be notified if there's a rain event coming, you'll get the immediate notifications about that. Preparing for the storms, what the city does is we activate the flash flood plan and inspect chronic flooding locations. We issue travel advisories, and we lowered the lakes in the New York City parks. What you all can do to help us there is to clear debris off of the curb line. If you live you have a corner property and you have catch basins on the corners of your home, if you could just clear those catch basins so that the water can go down, that gives us a great deal of help because otherwise that water is going to stay. You'd be surprised. When we start to get these heavy rains, leaves in the fall, debris coming down from the streets, they go to that catch basin, and then once the catch basin is clogged, no water can go in, so you're seeing it coming back on your sidewalk. You can stock up on your supplies, get sandbags and flood barriers. As I said, DEP is giving the flood barriers away. So if you'd like to get flood barriers, we can schedule something with the community board. And then we have different sizes, so you can get them for your garage door, you can get them for your side door for your house, and that would help also. And you can elevate those belongings that you have in the basement also off of the floors. Monitor the conditions during the storms, expand the network we're expanding the network of street flooding sensors. We're monitoring traffic cameras to deploy emergency responders. And if there's an emergency situation and you're asked to stay home, stay home. Don't go out, don't drive or walk through standing water, because it creates a hazardous condition for you. Following any storm recovery, we deploy resources to support cleanup efforts.
Should be home by now because she said 8 o'clock and I just 8. The meantime, I'm listening to my community board safety public safety committee meeting.
So and we're asking you to document your damages. Call 311 right away to report any flood damage, so that this way it's documented that there's conditions going on in your home. We can get the crews out if it's necessary, necessary to pump the streets. FDNY can come to pump out the houses, or we can get you some pumps to help get that flooded water out of your homes. Okay. Denise, I had asked Denise, and I know she was trying to find out from you guys if you had any particular locations or
You're gonna use the
concerns.
bathroom? I'm gonna use the bathroom real quick, and then I'm gonna go.
Someone else is talking, and you need to mute your phone. Hello? Yes, someone else's mic is open.
Not able to tell which one.
Okay, I think they closed
They,
it.
they,
I
they
see the
are,
light
they are,
around it. Okay, I'm sorry.
they are 2 more people with their phones open. Maybe
Okay.
you could ask them to mute themselves, or maybe you could you or Miss Lyons could mute everyone, and let Miss Ellis unmute herself.
Yeah. That was 646, and in the last digits 57. That would need to be muted. But if you can mute everybody, that's fine.
You hear me now?
Okay, everyone is muted. Yes.
Okay, and you can hear me now.
Muted everyone but who's speaking.
Okay. That's what I wanted to talk to you all about tonight, just to give you a little bit of information. I wanted to hear more from you all so that you can tell me if there are particular areas in your community, what concerns that you have. Denise and I can take some things back if we can't answer them for you this evening. We want this to be a back and forth dialogue so that we can hear from you and know what's going on. See a hand from Mr. Tate.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Good evening, Miss Ellis. Yes. I'm familiar with Denise Herbert, but I'm glad to see you too. Okay. And thanks for the presentation. A couple of things.
Mhm.
One, you did mention the flood barriers.
Right.
That's and you mentioned that it has to come through Community Board 17. Is it that they have to set some distribution or what?
No.
It doesn't have to come through the community board. It could, if you would like, we can have them delivered to the community board, and then they can distribute them. You all can distribute them to the residents. We've been working with the council members in your
Yeah.
community to distribute these flood barriers.
Yes.
And they've been scheduling events and giving them out. So
Yes,
if
'cause-
you want to do that through Councilmember Farah's office or through Councilmember Joseph's office, that would, we'll work with whoever to get them to you.
Yeah, I'm in council member for Lewis area, but because what happens is like myself, there's a couple of community drives in this area, like I'm at 43rd. Same thing is happening like 42nd and also between Troy and 45th. What
Mhm.
happened, the community, the water from the street comes down into the community drive, not only from the street, but when it accumulates, yes, we do get a lot of flooding that way. Even though we are not in a flood area, but yet I'm sure we would have welcomed that flood barrier. You're talking about the ones that we fill up with water, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah. So if it's maybe I'll call council member office or I'll talk with the community board. I don't know if what we have to do in terms of like just ask them if they could sign people up or you could just deliver them there.
And that would
Or-
be fine because we want to deliver them one place. And
Yes.
they're not heavy to transport because they're not full. So
Right.
what you would do is
Yeah.
you would fill them up when you get home.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. The other thing I was going to mention is yes, part of it is not it's not your fault because the sanitation has a lot to do with it too. Because there's a couple of places around here that it's not cleaned. For instance, right now on 42nd Street, between Farragut and Glenwood, but closer to Farragut Road by the gas station, there's a place there that because of all the sand that's coming from the brick factory over here, it's always covered. So when it's rain, it's like it creates like a shield over the drain, and the water doesn't come down. So I don't know if that's something that you all could address, or do we have to address it with sanitation or what?
You said this is a brick factory or a cement factory?
Yeah, there is a cinder block factory to be precise, and it's
Okay.
look like when the trucks come and deliver the sand, it has to be there because every once in a while you could see the whole place is covered. That particular spot is covered, and then the whole area floods around there when it rains.
Looks like a gully.
Okay.
Yes.
And that's the low point. I'm trying to remember because I lived over there in that particular area. So I'm trying to
Yeah.
remember if that's the low point you said Farragut and 42nd, East 42nd Street?
42nd Street, yes. It's right at the end of by the gas station. I don't know if you're familiar with it, if you were there when they built the gas station, but
Yes.
it's
Yes.
so it's the southeast side of 42nd Street,
Okay.
near Farragut.
Okay. If you could put in a 311 complaint and then follow up with Denise in the office tomorrow, we'll have
Yeah.
somebody come to check that catch basin.
Yeah.
I know sanitation comes through and they do the alternate sides street sweeping, I'm assuming.
Assuming it's right.
Yes.
Yeah,
When
that's
when
another
the cars are
story.
moved, when the cars are moved, right?
Yeah, right.
Because that's going to be another thing too. If there are cars parked on the catch basin, when the crews come to check the basins, they're not going to be able to get access to it. So
I understand.
yeah, so what we will try and do is maybe work something out with sanitation so that they can make sure that the vehicles are off of the basin. Or if PD can pull the well, I'm sorry, Officer Skinner is gone, but maybe we could get the license plate and have them read the license plate to find out who owns the vehicle and then possibly move it temporarily so that we can get in to clean it. But these are the types of things. They're difficult when we have cars on top of the basins, but if we can get in to clean it, we will, and make sure that there's nothing clogging the drain.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
George?
And just getting back to, I just wanted to add one other thing about your driveway. I know that all of you know if it's a community drive, the property owners, you own that driveway as well. Everything from the front of your house to the back of your house, including that driveway, is your property. So, if what we would suggest, and this is a costly, it's a cost for everyone, but what we would suggest, if the neighbors could get together, get an engineer and get a drain put in that driveway, in that back driveway, that would also help and get the water to flow down to the street where it can get to the catch basins and can be taken away.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Ellis. We are aware of that, and we do, however, because what it is we did that a few years back. So all the water comes from the Foster Avenue entrance, and it comes down to the Farragut Road. Because the only connection to the way the place is sloped, the only connection is to Farragut Road. Unfortunately, when the way is sloped and when the catch basin, when it's a heavy rain and the catch basins are overloaded on Farragut Road, everything backs up in here too. So it's, I understand exactly what you're saying, but and we
Can
do
we
pay, and we do clean it every once in a while to make sure, and we put a snake from the
say it again?
from the
My brother and I.
it's
My brother and I.
Mr. Daly,
No.
Mr. Daly, hello.
My brother and I fix it. So,
Mr. Daly, you are not muted.
Daly.
Mr. Daly,
call it subject pronoun.
Mr. Daly, we hear
I
you.
know you don't. That's okay. It's called a
He's not paying attention. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so it's a situation that we know we have to deal with, but again, whenever it's a heavy rain, you know, like that combination of the catch basins being slow and the water coming down, this all the houses closer to Farragut Road, basically we get flooded. I know last year, yeah, last year my neighbor next door, I had 90 years old. She had to call me at 12 o'clock at night. I had to run over there and take buckets of water out of her boiler room. So that's what happened. But I definitely understand what you're saying. Yes, thank you.
Mr. Tate,
Yes.
Jessica Welch here. I just wanted to know, did you, after taking the buckets of water out of her basement, being as how she was 90 years old, did you follow up by calling 311 so they could register that she had a flood?
No, I called her son, who should have been doing that. But my concern, quite frankly, was clearing her mess and then coming and taking care of mine.
No. I understand. It's
Yeah,
just Miss
but
Ellis had
no,
mentioned.
I didn't think it was a 311 call because as Miss Ellis mentioned, it's private property back there, you know.
Yeah, but they, Miss
What
Ellis?
what I suggest you do is also call it into 311 as well, because if you file claims with the city or you file claims with your insurance company, you have all of this information documented. And you should take photos of everything that's damaged in your basements as a result of floods. If it's not just it, and I'm not talking about regular storms, I'm talking about if you have a water main break in your house,
Yes.
or something, or there's a water main break in the street that affects your house. Also, make sure that you're taking photos and documenting everything so that you could submit that claim to the city, to the comptroller's office for reimbursement.
Okay, thanks for the advice.
And Mr. Tate, you know you always can call me. You have my contact info.
Yeah, yes, I do. But quite frankly, you know, like I said, once I cleared it and it did not go into her living room or the kitchen, you know, I basically this is it. It was just some old pieces of carpet that she had here. Yeah, so it wasn't damaged. It did not reach the boiler. Thanks God. You know, she called me before it reached the boiler. Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
Other questions?
Concerns?
Any
Issues?
any concerns or issues that the committee might have for Miss Ellis or Miss Hubbard? Anyone? I just want I had
Miss Welch.
mm-hmm.
Well, this is for you because since you invited Mr. Hubbard and Miss Ellis here, and we do need to get a point of distribution for the
For the rain
uh,
barrels,
no
barriers.
the flood
What
barriers.
areas?
Will
Yes, and
you
it could be
be
it can
will
be
you be able
distributed to churches and at our community board, but where will we be able to store them? Yes, it is.
Oh, they'll be
We're
able to
all
be.
packed up.
You could store them in the community board because they're not big. They are folded. We did that with the barrels
In a
one
box.
time. So if we
Mhm.
could do it with some barrels, we definitely could do it with those
Okay,
those
so you're
bags.
suggesting that maybe we arrange a date that maybe the barriers could be delivered to the community board. And also, I was just thinking a lot of churches also have homeowners at their meetings, and the churches can also help us in the distribution of the flood barrier containers. Wouldn't that help also?
But it could be done, and if you are
Because we have
busy,
some big churches in our neighborhood.
yes, that too. But right now we're dealing with community board 17. So I don't know if you don't mind and you want me to. I brought it up, so if you want me to try to handle that, I could help you
Yes, if
with
you
that.
can, Mr. Tate, because
Okay.
I know that because okay, also I was a member of CERT, Community Emergency Response Team for the
Right.
community, and we were having an issue with actually getting things together and storing them. And then we were actually located at a church over there on Glenwood. I'm just saying they have different churches and they have different places in the churches
Yeah.
that can store these things where the homeowners can pick it up from the church itself, like Holy Cross Church, which is right there by me on Rogers and Church Avenue. We have a lot of homeowners. We have different
Yeah.
congregations. We have St. Catherine's, who also have, I guess, places that they can store things because they have other buildings right in there in the area of their parishes.
Yeah.
So
That
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 can
that
help also.
yeah. That could be another
Because I could
distribution
speak
point.
to the
But
Monsignor at Holy Cross and maybe at St. Catherine's and find out if they could make a delivery, and then maybe someone from the community could distribute it to the bigger churches, that the people are able to gain access to these flood barrier containers that are empty.
Oh, you're talking about two different things. You're talking
yes,
about
Right.
the rain barrels,
we thought.
and we're talking
And
about
the flood
flood
barriers.
barriers as
No, no,
well.
I'm talking about flood barriers, the ones that are empty that they could stack onto each other.
No, no, no. You're talking about the rain barrels.
Oh,
Okay.
that's the rainbows.
That's
That's
the
Okay.
rain, that's the rain barrel, and that's the 60-gallon drum that we usually give out sometime between April and September. We've been giving out rain barrels in the
right.
communities. But the
Mhm.
flood barriers are it's a tube that you would fill up with water and put at the base of your home. And it's a plastic tube. It's flat. It's in a plastic. It comes in a plastic bag sealed, and then it expands once you put the water in it. So it's
Right.
not something that has to be stored in
Right.
you know, if the community board has some space that, and you want to host an event, we can make sure that we can get you 200 flood barriers, and you can share them
okay.
with the neighbors. Okay.
Okay,
They
so
come, they come in various sizes, so we can get them. If you'd like to check with your neighbors and they can measure the size of their door, we have them in 4x4, 4x6, 6x12, and 6x6, I believe, uh, measurements. So if residents want to measure the size of their door or the front of their driveway, then we can get them the specific size, and we'll just make sure that we have enough boxes so that, you know, if you all host an event, you can distribute it based on the sizes that they've asked for.
oh, okay. So I could actually put it as a distribution at the end of year culmination of our community
I would
spot.
not, I'm sorry, Ms. Welch.
No.
I would not wait till the end of the year, because remember, April showers,
Bring May
bring May
flowers.
shower, which means
Mhm.
April is always a rainy month.
Okay. So we
So
could
I think we need to do it, and that's why I was kind of discouraging about trying to make it on a big scale, to include the churches and all that. 'Cause that would be a bigger undertaking. I think we need to concentrate, and I'm sorry, this is my, because I know the situation over here. I think if we could concentrate on making a distribution, it could be, yes, as let's say the public safety committee event, and and in association with DEP, we are
okay.
offering. So if I have your permission to try,
Yes,
to
Mr. Tate,
work
you have
with
my
it, I
permission.
will do it. Okay, so I will
You
contact
have
Ms.
my
Elizabeth.
permission,
I will
but I
contact
will
Ms.
also
Hubbard.
like to I would also like to help if I can. Maybe get someone with I don't know, those big Jeep things, SUV that is able to take it to, once it comes to us, maybe we could take it to St. Catherine's or Holy Cross. Because I know those are
Or we can
definitely,
have it delivered there.
oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to say they could
Okay.
have, that's why I was saying they could have a different distribution center
Okay.
over there. So,
So if we have it at the two big Catholic churches or maybe three churches and have it at our community board, that would be great for distribution. Good idea.
As
Okay, I'll write it down.
we have, and unfortunately, our crews cannot distribute and go from place to place. So
Oh,
if we can get them to the community board, they're in boxes. They're not
mhm.
heavy boxes, but if you have men who are willing to pick the boxes up and put them in their car and take them to the churches, that's fine. But we
Okay.
can get you guys 200. I think it might be about 8 boxes, those 200.
No, 200. I'm sorry. 200 is 12 boxes.
Okay, so we'll make sure that we
Okay.
can get different sizes for you all, and then this way you can distribute them as you all see fit.
Yeah. Okay, so Ms. Welch, I'll help you coordinate this, okay?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Tate.
You're welcome.
You do have my number, right?
Karen, when is the new shipment coming in?
We have enough in stock now that we can get them. Just reach out to Mark and he can get them over there.
Okay.
Okay. Wonderful. And they're called the barriers, right? Flood
They're
barriers.
They're flood barriers. We have a lot of information on our website about flood barriers, about rain barrels, about rain preparedness, rainfall ready. Just visit our website at www.nyc.gov, and you've got all of your information there on how to prepare for any storm events that are coming.
Okay. Great idea. Great idea. Distribute from the community board. Hold on.
Also, you should know that the rain barrel program is not really going to start until May, June. But if you can hold off until July, I can get you more than what we're allotting right now.
Okay, that's for the rain barrels, right? But
That's
the
the rain
flood
barrels, yes.
barriers, the
Flood
okay,
barriers we can get you now.
okay, and the rain barrels we'll get like in June,
In July, beginning
July.
of July.
You know, our community board is not really it's not functioning. We don't have meetings in July.
That doesn't matter.
So,
You can get in touch with me and I'll get it to you.
okay, thank you. And I'll let the okay, no problem. Thank you.
That means you should do your outreach now, so you'll get a
Okay,
sense of how many barrels you want to get.
okay, so we'll ask, right, Mr. Tate? Mr. Tate, are you there? Did he go?
He might have,
Okay.
but he'll be
I'm
calling.
sorry, I was
Oh, there you
muted.
go.
Yes, we did this in the past, and so
Yes.
Ms. Fraser is familiar with what they did, what do they took the names down and everything, and it was done at the time. It was done through the sanitation committee, but Ms. Fraser is familiar with and I do believe Ms. Lyons also might be familiar with what was done.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'll definitely ask Mr. Tate and Miss Lyons and Miss Fraser what could be done and try to make sure that I'm able to know what can be done with them. Thank you. As to their distribution. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. You're right.
If there's no other questions for us, Denise and I
And
will take our leave, but we appreciate
any other questions, ladies and gentlemen?
Hi, Ms. Hubbard, it's Nadine.
Hey,
Any
Nick.
hand?
Whenever y'all want to distribute I'll get the list together like we normally do. I get a list, send it to you, and then you know how many we need for the community.
No problem.
Okay.
When we have them in stock, I'll let you know.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you all. I'm not seeing you again, Ms. Albert. You'll hear from me soon.
No problem. You have my numbers.
Yes.
Thank you
Okay.
so much for having us.
Okay.
You're welcome. Thanks for
No-
coming. You.
No problem.
Okay.
We
thank
put
you.
out information in the chat. If you need us, just give us a call.
Okay. As for my committee, thank you. Thank you very much for being here with Miss Hubbard and Miss Ellis. Thank you. And we will remember your number and we'll find out how many barriers we need.
Okay.
Thank you very
No problem. Y'all have a good
Okay.
evening.
Good
Good night.
evening. And I understand that Mr. Daly is here. Mr. Daly, you and I. Mr. Daly,
Yes, good afternoon, Chair Welch. How are you doing?
I'm fine. Thank you.
Um,
Well,
hi, Miss Hubbard. Are you still there?
no,
I'm trying to get off.
Hi, Miss Hubbard.
Can
How
you
are you?
hear me? Hi, Mr. Daly. How you doing?
I am doing well, and thank you for offering to give the community the barriers and the rain barrel as usual.
No
And
problem.
coming through for that. Appreciate that.
No problem.
Miss Welch, you had a question for me? For Welch?
oh, I was just let
I'm sorry, say that you're breaking up, or is it me? Yeah, what do you need to charge it for? This one. Hello, good afternoon, Miss Welch, Chair Welch.
yes,
You're breaking up.
I'm breaking up. Sorry. I'm just thanking you for being here and thank you for having Mr. Skinner here with us. And I noticed that you came in afterwards, so I'm just letting you know.
Okay.
Okay.
So I wanted to address a public safety issue that I was just informed of earlier, and I'm not sure if I'm 100% certain you're not aware of it. All right. And I really don't know how we as a board or as a community can address it, right? So I was speaking to the inspector today at a little incident that happened. Well, it's not a little; it's a major incident. In that a young man, 26-year-old man, made an attempt to lure an 8-year-old child, right? An 8-year-old child into, I guess, what would be considered kidnapping, right? And tried to abduct that child. I don't know if Detective Skinner had spoken about it in his meeting earlier, but I'm just wondering, as part of things that parents need to watch out for. Yes, Duke. I will. Give me a minute. Let me finish talking. What are some stop gaps that parents can do to help to improve their child's safety, right? Knowing that happened, and what happened was that the person was coming from one of the mental institutions, right? And so we all know that person's going to come back out pretty much with the bail reform and all that crap. That person's going to be out in a very limited, short period of time. So I would like to figure out what the Public Safety Committee can do to set high alert for parents in our community when it comes to abduction and child safety.
Start that. Okay, stop.
Oh, well, our parents that have little ones, we have to be more aware that these people are out there, because I remember when I was a parent of a little one, I was at the precinct finding out which child molester was nearest in my neighborhood and where they were located. I was crazy, I know. But I took my kids to school and I brought them back from school. I brought them to school, the father brought them back from school. That was my net. So my kids was not on the street at no time. But what about those parents that go to work and the children are going home? That's who we really need to reach out to, because they're not aware that the children are not safe. They got a lot of nuts. Wrong name. Sorry. They have a lot of people that have issues mentally that don't realize you're doing something wrong, dude. You are doing something wrong. And these parents have to come together and make something happen, because don't forget, back then we was making videotapes in case our child gets abducted, because they had the show on the TV with the guy that had the kid that was abducted in the village, Anton Pate. It was really big, and they had that show. And
Oh
every
yeah,
week,
I know.
I don't remember the name of it, but it was so apparent in all the schools. At our PTA meetings, we were always talking about somebody being abducted. And it can happen. They throw them in the van and take off with them. But the parents at the PTA meetings, we were talking about it, how we can avoid this. And then we started putting grandma with some other kids, an auntie with some other kids, so that everybody had somebody to walk home with. So those parents got to get together, because our children are not safe out there.
I'm wondering if they have the program, and maybe that's something that Ms. Lyons can look into. See if they have ID NYC. So as part of I don't know if you're planning on doing a workshop or a forum.
That's what we're calling you.
But as
ID NYC?
Yes, ID NYC for children.
Okay, we and they also have a thing where they take their fingerprints too.
Yeah,
and they make
but
a
I'm a little bit leery of the fingerprint, but the IDNYC.
no. The children, when they do the presentation, someone comes, they do the fingerprint, they take the picture, they take the child's height, and they give them like a little ID card of themselves. So in case the child is abducted at any time, the parents can go and get this ID that they did at the information forums. Because I remember having someone at one of my information forums from ID NYC, and that's what they did. And we got sponsored by the people with the health insurance. They're the ones that was paying for the pictures at that time. I don't know how they do it now, but at that time I could find out more about it.
Okay, I mean, it's a thought for maybe one of the meetings on public safety
Mm,
or the forum or whatever.
for the forum, the information forum.
Okay.
Okay. But this happened, the child was safe afterwards, the 8-year-old.
Yeah, the child was fine.
And what they did with this guy that was trying to lure him.
Well, they were able to identify him. They arrested him.
Good.
But like I said, I believe that he's going to be back out on the street in a matter of.
Oh, it's like a revolving door.
Yeah, because they don't really arrest anybody nowadays. I mean, they arrest people, but they don't keep anybody nowadays.
I understand. But we have to be aware and do something about it. Okay. I'll keep that in mind when I do the forum information.
Okay.
Anything else, people?
Just just to remind people that keep an ear out if you guys applied to be on the board, that those letters are coming out in a little bit. Expectation of one of the qualifications moved for next year is for participations at the committee level. And I'll bring that up again. And moving forward, just to and I'll also bring that up at the general board, but to look at the importance of the committee level on voting on issues that are important to the community, because they become not full debatable at the board level. So there's something that the bar president wants to get done.
Okay.
All right. That's it from my end.
Thank you, Mr. Daly.
No problem.
Thank you, Chair Daly. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair Welch.
Okay, back to my ability to try to force. Now I'm forcing, using the word force, FORCE, force. I am now forcing the people on this committee to please come up with something for our end of year forum or end of year ideas culminating the end of year festivities. So I am still putting that out there to have a forum for information, an information forum. Anybody else have some other ideas?
Personally, I think that's a great idea. I think like at this point, I think that people need to, I think you need to finalize a date on when that's going to be, probably preferably on.
You need tea?
Pardon me?
Sorry.
No, I don't need tea, but thank you.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I'm sorry.
I think, maybe the date should be on your fourth Wednesday. Your fourth Wednesday. Just check it. And like you just had DEP, fire safety, NYPD. I just spoke
So
about.
what are you saying? You want it to be done on a weekday in the evening?
Yeah, on the Wednesday. So you can do it from like maybe 6 to 9 or something like that.
Mr. Daly, I go to work, right?
Yeah, but if you plan straight ahead, you'd be fine. You have a very flexible boss. Her name is Jessica Welch.
Okay, I'll see what can be done, but I know I wouldn't like it. I'm off on Saturdays, so I know I wouldn't want to put it on a Wednesday because I'm off on Saturdays. I'm even off on Fridays.
The reason why I mentioned the Wednesdays because in June, if that's when you plan to do it, which is about enough time.
Why couldn't it be done in May?
I don't know that you have to. Well, I mean it's your committee, so you make that decision.
Okay. I'll put it here Wednesday or anybody else has any idea of what we should be doing?
The reason why I'm saying that also is that Ms. Lyons is going a lot of the committees that she's working on as well will have things that she's working that she will have to be doing as well. So that's something she would need to coordinate with her to see the timeline that she needs as well.
I understand. I understand. That's why I said we can always have it in May. It's not a problem.
Okay.
Okay, so anyone else has any idea of what they should have at the end of this culmination of information forum or what we should do? Anyone else? Okay, Ms. Lyons is now coming to the end of the meeting. I would like to know if we have enough to vote on the December, January, February minutes.
Do not have quorum.
I beg your pardon?
Do not have quorum.
We do not have quorum.
I thought it was.
Okay, members, by next month, when I finish going through who is on our committee and who is not on our committee, we should have quorum. Because again, we have no quorum.
Well, I do have something to say about the minutes, though. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes.
I see that in December, I am listed as a committee member. In January 2023, I am suddenly a guest. In February, I know I couldn't make it, but that's interesting. I went from being a committee member in December to a guest in 2023 the next month. I know we can't vote on it right now, but that's something that needs to be corrected.
Mr. Brown?
Yes, that's me.
Yes, the reason you're not listed as a committee member because when Ms. Welch spoke to you at one of the meetings, she thanked you for attending. Thank you for joining the committee, and you said you were not a committee member. You just come to the meetings.
I don't recall that. I remember, well, if that's what was said, that was an error. I thought that was one of the other meetings I attended. I think I thought it was a housing meeting or something like that. But yeah, I'm a committee member. I'm a committee member.
Okay, no problem. I'll switch you from the guest to the committee member list.
Yeah, okay.
No problem.
Miss Lyons.
Yes.
Outside of Mr. Tate and Miss Welch, who are the other board members on the safety committee?
Mr. Brown, Ms. Lavelle.
Community board members.
Board members?
Yes, ma'am.
There's none on here as of now, but Lisa Highland is one of the committee members, and she's a board member.
She's not a board member.
Is one of the members. She's a board member. Who's not a board member?
Miss Highland is not a board member. What's the other name?
Still on the board members listing.
She's not. She's not a board member. That means that this list needs to be updated. Who else?
Mrs. Reddock, Mr. Barrett.
Okay, that's two. That's it?
Hold on, let me open this thing.
And has Miss Highland been to any meetings?
She's been to one,
When?
January.
Okay.
Any
Um,
more?
so I tell you what, to not do this right now and to hold up any more time, can we schedule, the three of us schedule a meeting to review the list and review the four of us? I'm going to try to get Mr. Cunningham on that call as well to review the attendance piece. How many months have you not had quorum, Ms. Welch?
It's going on December, January, February. Now it's
Okay.
March.
So please refer to Ms. Lyons tomorrow to schedule a meeting.
Mr. Westcott is also a member.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, but he was
So,
in the hospital.
so the four of us.
Also, Miss Lewis.
Hold on,
is
hold
also-
on, Miss Welch. Hold on, Miss Welch. So the four of us can review the attendance.
And Miss Lewis is now a member.
Miss Lewis is now, she's not a board member though.
Okay.
She's a committee member.
She's a committee member. I don't know if she has reapplied to become a board member to be on the board. But then let's just meet one day early next week so we can review the attendance so we can move forward in terms of what needs to happen so the quorum can come into play.
Okay. So
All
we're
right.
gonna meet.
Pardon me?
We're gonna meet next week, you said?
Yes. So you can coordinate with Miss Lyons on a day during the week that we can meet.
Okay, so I can call her tomorrow morning and she'll let me know.
Okay. Good enough.
Rudy.
All right. Thank you.
Who's there? Who's there that just spoke?
That's Miss Bennett.
Yes, I was saying hello, Rudy.
Yes, Miss Bennett is
Oh,
also a
she
member.
was saying hi. She was saying hi.
Oh,
No, I'm here. I had trouble getting on. I couldn't get on.
oh. Okay. But we're now we are now at the end of our meeting. If anybody has any ideas, they can leave the message at the community board and I will check with them to find out if anybody had I don't know, an idea of what they think we should do. But I'll definitely call you. I gave out my number. My number is 917-971-8959. Please
Just to
call me.
confirm, you'd like to call 797.
What's that? Anyway, that's it. That's the end of our meeting. Anybody would like to
Yes.
Anybody would like to close our meeting, please?
Well, I have
And-
a quick. Can I make a quick statement really fast to Rudy?
Sure.
Rudy, you there? You hear me?
Yes, ma'am. I'm here.
What I was going to say is, lately in this community, we've been inundated with a lot of people selling stuff up and down residential streets. And for the last few days, I've seen this woman. She has a baby strapped to her back on Kings Highway in Snyder. I said, that's the most dangerous thing I've ever seen in my life. Maybe we can send a message to the precinct. Maybe they can do something about that. Either I'll call child services, child protective services, because you cannot walk up and down the median the way the accidents are going on around here with a baby on you. You'll end up dead and so will that baby.
That's is she one of the migrant? Does she look like one of me? You know what? I see that a lot with the migrant having the children because I guess they can't afford babysitter and they.
You cannot go up and down. That's a Kings
Yes.
Highway. That's
No,
dangerous.
I'm asking if does it seem like one of the migrants that are coming in a date in the community?
No, I couldn't tell.
Okay. So you said Snyder and Kings Highway?
Yes. Short little lady. A few other people saw her too. Sometimes she has one kid, sometimes she has two.
Okay.
That's dangerous.
May I just add to that, Mr. Daly?
Yes, ma'am.
Also, that's happening on Brooklyn Avenue, outside of a building between Clarendon and D, where they actually set up sidewalks selling clothes and shoes.
And what's that, Avenue D, no, Avenue D as in David? and
Yeah, on
Clarendon?
Brooklyn, between D and Clarendon.
Okay, by the Clarendon, by Alliance Church?
In the middle of the block.
Okay, all right. Okay,
Okay.
thank you. I'll have a conversation with the inspector.
Okay. So this is the end of this meeting. Can somebody please close our meeting for us? And someone second it, please.
Okay, I, George State, make a motion to end this meeting at 8:51 p.m.
Adele Bennett seconded.
Thank you. Thank you. That's the end of the meeting. Good night. Thanks for coming.
Good night, everyone.
Okay,
Yeah, good night.
Good night.
Night.
And,
Thank you.